When I caught my sister and my boyfriend in her old bedroom, Mom said, "Don't cause drama." So I didn't. I caused a $350,000 business collapse instead. All right, Reddit. Strap in because this is a train wreck from beginning to end. I'm 34 years old, sitting here in my new apartment, 4 months distant from the nuclear bomb that exploded in my family, and I decided it was time to get this off my chest. Some of you may say I went too far. Most of you will likely say I did not go far enough. In any case, here's how I gradually devastated my family's finances after discovering that my sister had been cheating on my boyfriend for the whole 4 years of our relationship. Let me begin with the familial dynamics, as this is critical backdrop for understanding why I did what I did. My younger sister, Chloe, 29, has always been the golden kid, not in the nuanced way that makes you question whether you're being paranoid. I'm talking about blatant partiality that would prompt a sitcom writer to remark, "Tone it down, that's unrealistic." Growing up, I was the responsible one. Got good grades without being asked, helped around the house, and was working part-time by the age of 16. Standard older sibling crap. However, Chloe operates under very other rules. Did you fail any classes in high school? She's simply not challenged enough. Got caught shoplifting? Just a phase. Girls will be girls. Have you crashed your father's car? Accidents happen. That is what insurance is for. Meanwhile, I received a 2-week suspension for returning home an hour after curfew to assist a friend whose car had broken down. The real stinger is how this carried over into adulthood. I worked hard to get through college, graduated with a finance degree, and got a good job as a financial analyst. Nothing fancy, but I was making a good living and moving up the career ladder. I bought my own place at the age of 27, paid off my car, and had actual savings. Chloe dropped out of college after 1 year, went through a series of failed businesses, and lived in her parents' basement until she was 26. Every unsuccessful firm was just a result of bad timing or a failure to understand her goal. Every job she left was because her supervisor could not manage her inventive ideas. But this is where it becomes significant to the plot. Dad requested me 3 years ago to assist him restructure the finances of his construction company. He'd created a solid business over 32 years, but when it came to money management, he was a traditionalist. Everything was in his head or on paper, with no real mechanisms in place. I spent 8 months setting up solid bookkeeping, generating project tracking spreadsheets, and establishing stronger supplier relationships. I saved him approximately $95,000 that first year simply by optimizing operations. Is he thanking you? A handshake followed by, "That's what family does." After 3 years, Dad decides to semi-retire and Chloe takes over as his successor. Despite my sister's lack of experience in building, project management, or business ownership, I had been assisting with financial management for free the entire time. However, Chloe received the actual title and pay, and Dad transferred half of the business ownership to her name. When I mentioned that I'd practically been performing the CFO job for free for 4 years, Dad remarked, "You have your own career. Chloe needs this more than you do, right? Because that is how company succession should work. Give it to the person who needs it the most, rather than the person who is genuinely competent." But I let it go because I'm a goddamn doormat who believe family should mean anything. Now, let us chat about my guy. Okay, ex-boyfriend Derek. He and I met at a cookout 5 years ago through mutual acquaintances. He was funny, knowledgeable, worked as a dental hygienist, and we immediately clicked. After a few months, I became more serious about dating. I introduced him to my family around month 3, which is probably when everything went wrong. Chloe applied the charm instantly. Her skill is being the gregarious, witty, life-of-the-party lady, whereas I am the dull one who discusses spreadsheets and retirement accounts. I recall her taking me aside at the first supper and saying, "Dude, he's way out of your league. How'd you manage that?" I shrugged it off. Stupid me. Derek became increasingly connected with my family over the course of the next 4 years. He'd attend their Sunday dinners, help Mom with holiday preparations, and even accompany my aunt on a few shopping trips. I thought it was amazing that my boyfriend got along with my family. What might go wrong? He and Chloe got very close. They followed each other on social media. He'd laugh extra hard at her jokes, and she'd always find an excuse to converse with him during family events. But I trusted him, so I didn't think much of it. My best friend Tyler tried to warn me about 8 months ago. We were at a bar watching the game, and he casually mentioned it. Hey, not trying to start anything, but has Derek been acting weird lately? Like, distant? I thought about it. He had lost interest in sex, had more conflicts over trivial matters, and was constantly on his phone. But I'd been busy at work, so I assumed we were just stuck in a rut. Every relationship passes through phases. I told Tyler, we're fine. He didn't press it, but he gave me this look, like, I tried to tell you. The truth emerged 4 months ago in the most sad way possible. I was at my folks' place helping Dad with some papers. Chloe was supposed to be on a job site, and Derek was scheduled to work an afternoon shift. I was in my home office when I heard some noises upstairs. I wondered if Dad was up there, so I went to check. That's when I heard them, in Chloe's childhood bedroom, which she still uses when she visits. Derek's voice is certainly not alone. Then Chloe laughs. I stood there in the corridor for perhaps 30 seconds, unable to understand what I was hearing. Then the rage set in. Not the exploding sort, but the cold, calculated kind that forces you to think straight for the first time in years. I took out my phone and began recording sounds through the door. We got roughly 3 minutes of really incriminating evidence. Then I walked downstairs, got into my car, and drove home. Did not confront them. Didn't break through the door. Just gathered evidence and departed. That night, I browsed Derek's laptop while he was in the shower. I understand. Invasion of privacy. But call it instinct. My gut was correct. Found communications dating back nearly 4 years, virtually our whole relationship. The messages were horrible. Not just the physical aspects, but the way they referred to me. She's so dull in bed. Does she ever do something spontaneously? Your sister is cute, but she's virtually a robot. Chloe responded even worse. She will not find out. She's overly preoccupied with work. Sometimes I feel awful, but he obviously likes me. Honestly, the chick has no game. The timeline was damning. The first message was sent 4 months after Derek and I began dating. They had been causing trouble at family events, in my apartment while I was at work, and even in my car once when Derek borrowed it. I spent the entire night documenting everything. Screenshots, timestamps, and the audio recording from before. Created a complete file. Then I opened a beer and began to plot. Derek attempted sexual intercourse with me the following morning. I informed him I was not feeling well. He appeared relieved. I spent the week acting quite normal. Went to work, got home, ate dinner with Derek, and watched television. I spent the entire time arranging my parts. First, I contacted 3 separate lawyers and scheduled consultations. I needed to know what my legal alternatives were, particularly with Dad's business and any financial entanglements. Second, I saved every file I'd made for Dad's firm to a personal hard drive, including 4 years of financial records, supplier contracts, project management systems, customer connections, and everything else that kept the business operating smoothly. I then formatted the company's backup drives. Whoops! Third, I began making phone calls. Remember how I developed contacts with their suppliers? Now is the time to put that to use. I informed them that I was leaving the company and wanted to thank them for their business. I casually said that if they ever needed assistance, I'd be available to freelance as a financial counselor. Several others indicated they would keep me in mind. Fourth, and most importantly, I contacted their largest client, a property development company that accounted for approximately 45% of my father's revenue. Grant, the owner, and I had developed a friendship over the years. I had helped him comprehend the proposals, gave cost breakdowns, and even identified a few flaws that saved him money. I informed Grant that I was leaving the family firm and suggested that he carefully evaluate all future contracts. I indicated that my replacement had little experience in commercial construction. Grant thanked me and promised to keep that in mind. Then I waited for the ideal opportunity. It arrived the following Sunday after family supper. Everyone was there: Mom, Dad, Chloe, my aunt and uncle, and Derek. I'd brought my laptop and explained that I wanted to show everyone images from a company event. We had finished dining, and Mom was clearing plates when I stood up and announced that I had something to contribute. "So, I've got some news," I said. "Derek and I are breaking up." Everyone froze. Derek turned pale. Chloe stared at her plate. Mom quickly asked, "Oh, honey, what happened? You two seemed very pleased." "Well, that's actually the interesting part," I remarked, pulling out my laptop. "We seemed happy because I didn't know Derek had been sleeping with my sister for the last 4 years." The hush was deafening, followed by turmoil. Mom gasped. Dad demanded to know what I was talking about, and my aunt gazed at Chloe and Derek as if she couldn't believe it. I pulled up the screenshots and flipped the laptop around. Here are 4 years of communications. Here's the audio from last week, when I found them in Chloe's old room. And here's a chronology that shows they've been fooling around at almost every family function since the 3rd month of my relationship. Derek burst into tears immediately. Not the "I'm sorry I harmed you" sobbing, but the "I was caught crying." There is a big difference. What about Chloe, though? Chloe attempted to keep it calm. "Look, sis," she began. I cut her off. "Do not talk to me, Chloe." Mom predictably went into damage control mode. "Let's all calm down and talk about this logically. Being angry will not solve anything." "I am calm," I stated. "I've had a week to process this. I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen." Dad eventually spoke up. "Lauren, this is clearly serious." "Chloe, what the hell were you thinking?" Chloe shrugged, truly shrugged. "I do not know, Dad. These things just happen occasionally." "Do these things just happen?" That was when I lost it. Not yelling, but something inside me has gone absolutely frigid. "Do you know what?" I said. "You're totally correct. Things just happen." Speaking of which, I wanted to let you know that I am leaving the company, effective immediately. There will be no more free financial consultations, no more bookkeeping, no more supplier ties. You two have fun figuring it out. Dad's face quickly changed from angry to concerned. "Now, hold on. Let's not base commercial judgments on personal matters." "Personal issues?" I said. "Dad, your golden daughter has been screwing my boyfriend at your house for 4 years. That's not a personal issue. That is a fundamental lack of respect that I will no longer tolerate." Derek then began explaining about how it had just happened and how he never meant to hurt me, blah, blah, blah. I cut him off. "You're finished talking. Get your stuff out of my apartment by tomorrow night, or it'll go in the dumpster." Then I turned to Chloe. "And you, I hope he was worth it. Really. Because you are about to see what that firm looks like when you have to operate it on your own." Mom started her peacemaker regimen. "Let's avoid saying something we'll later regret. Family is forever, and I understand everyone is furious right now, but, Mom, I'm going to stop you right there. I told you. You have spent your entire life making excuses for Chloe. Every failure, every mistake, every selfish act she's ever committed has helped her become the type of person who would do this without hesitation. So no, I am not interested in maintaining peace. I'm not interested in seeing any of you again." I closed my laptop and walked away. I didn't look back. Did not give anyone an opportunity to answer. I just left, got into my car, drove to Tyler's apartment, and told him everything. How did he respond? "Finally, I've been waiting for you to grow a spine." The following day was Monday. I went into Dad's office before anybody else came, packed my personal belongings, removed my login credentials from all company systems, and left my keys on the desk. Then I wrote an email to Dad and Chloe. I am officially retiring from all paid and unpaid positions with the company. All financial data, project files, and supplier contracts are saved on the system. The login information is with your IT guy. I have disabled my access to all accounts. Good luck with your future ventures. Do not approach me unless it is through a lawyer. I forwarded that email to both my personal account and the lawyers I had met with. Paper trail, baby. Derek arrived to my flat that night, distraught and demanding to chat. I had the locks changed that morning, so he couldn't enter. He stood at my door for 25 minutes before departing. Following that, everyone began sending texts. "Mom, please do not do this. We can work things out as a family." "Dad, we need to discuss the business. This is more than personal feelings." "Chloe, come on, sis. Are you really going to abandon your family over this?" "Sorry, but these things do happen. Can't we just get past it?" That text caused my blood to boil all over again. Sometimes these things just happen. I sent it to Mom with the simple statement, "This is who you raised. Congratulations." Her response was, "She is young and made a mistake. Don't cause problems by carrying grudges. We are family. Avoid causing controversy." That's what drove me from walking away to aggressively burning everything down. See, I was planning to simply break contact and go on with my life. Get therapy, heal, and meet someone who isn't a cheating piece of rubbish. But Mom's SMS message solidified something for me. They didn't believe what transpired was wrong. They simply felt I was overreacting. So I decided to give them a genuine problem to worry about. Remember the supplier ties I developed? It's time to activate them. I contacted their lumber supplier first. These guys contributed over 55% of our materials for residential construction. I had a wonderful rapport with the owner, Paul, who always appreciated how quickly I handled payments and detected invoicing errors before they caused problems. "Hey, Paul, just a heads up," I informed him over the phone. "I am no longer with the company. My sister is taking over the finances, and she has some different notions regarding payment conditions." He became quiet. "Different how?" "Well, you remember how we always did net 30 and paid on time? Yeah, I can't say whether that will continue. I just thought you should know." He thanked me for the warning. Within a week, he had altered Dad's account from net 30 to payment upon delivery. There will be no more floating costs between projects. I made similar calls to the other big suppliers. I didn't explicitly criticize the company. I simply stated that I no longer managed funds and could not guarantee future payment reliability. The majority of them tightened their terms quickly. Then I contacted Grant, the property developer whose company generated approximately 45% of Dad's revenue. I went him to lunch and told him the entire tale. He winced in sympathy and said he had previously considered my warning. "Your sister put in a bid for the Oak Street project," he told me. "It's about 35% lower than what you would normally quote because she doesn't understand the margins." I said she believes she can make it up someplace, but she can't. You'll get halfway through the project, and either the quality will suffer or she'll request additional money. Grant nodded slowly. "What would be your bid?" I mentally calculated the costs, materials, labor, and a reasonable profit. I gave him a value that was approximately 30% higher than Chloe's bid, but still attainable. "That's more in line with what I expected," he told me. "Tell you what, I'm going to deny your father's bid. If you ever start your own consulting firm, please let me know. I'd rather work with someone who understands what they're doing." That lunch planted a seed. The following week, Dad and Chloe began to feel the pressure. Dad contacted me personally, bypassing the typical sequence of guilt texts. "We need to talk about the supplier situation," he continued, trying to appear authoritative but mostly sounding strained. "They're changing our payment terms. Do you know anything about it?" "I have no idea, Dad. I'm no longer with the company, remember? Those ties took years to develop." "Yes, they did. Built by me, by being dependable and professional. Perhaps they are simply adjusting to the new management structure." He was quiet for a long time. Oak Street also fell through. Grant said our bid was unrealistic. "That's unfortunate." "You spoke with him, didn't you?" "I ate lunch with a previous client as a private citizen. Is this illegal?" He hung up on me. Mom's text messages became increasingly frequent. I was being vindictive. This was impacting the entire family. Why couldn't I simply let it go? They apologized, but they weren't. Not really. There was no explanation for what they had done wrong. Just "sorry you're angry, sorry this occurred, and let's go on." So I continued going. I established a consulting LLC. It took me 2 weeks to register everything and put together a rudimentary website. Then I contacted my network, which included contractors, project managers, and developers, and offered financial consultation, bid preparation, supplier negotiations, bookkeeping, cash flow triage, and whatever else they required. Within a month, I had 4 clients. Within 2 months, I was earning more than my day job. I gave notice at my analytic job and joined full-time consultancy. Here's the best part. 3 of those clients previously subcontracted for Dad's firm. They didn't switch despite him. They simply needed financial advice, and I was accessible. However, projects that would have gone to Dad were now directed to competitors who had their numbers together. Dad's business began hemorrhaging, not in a dramatic way, but gradually and steadily. Projects bid too cheap were under budget on paper, but nevertheless lost money. Material expenses exceeded expectations since Chloe had not included shipping fees and waste. Labor ran over because she scheduled everything as if optimism could build concrete on its own. About 4 months after I departed, Dad contacted again. "We need help," he remarked without preface. "The business is in trouble." "I'm sorry to hear that," I responded. "Don't give me the corporate kill mode, Lauren. We can't get good deals from vendors anymore. We are losing bids. Half of our reliable replacements have moved on." Sounds like a rough market, I responded. Have you thought about employing a financial consultant? I've heard there are some good ones available. He exhaled like if I had hit him. God damn it. Stop playing games. You're right. It's serious. This is what Chloe and Derek did. That was your reaction. Don't cause any drama. This is not drama, Dad. This is business. If we go under, your mother and I will lose everything. The house, our retirement, everything. That caused me to pause. Not out of sympathy, but to better grasp the situation. What do you mean, everything? He had used his house as collateral for business debts. Growth had resulted in debt. It was effective for managing cash flow. Now not so much. How deep? I asked. About $350,000, maybe more. Jesus, that did not happen in 4 months. How long have you been running at a loss? Silence. Maybe a year, he replied. Chloe said she had it under control. Of course she did. Has she been paying herself a salary the entire time? She's the managing partner, he added hesitantly. She deserves compensation. How is that working out? Here's my offer, I said. I will consult for your company. My hourly cost is $250 with a minimum of 25 hours per week and bi-monthly billing. Payment is expected upon receipt. I'll evaluate the finances, develop a reasonable budget, and renegotiate with suppliers wherever possible. Condition 1. Chloe is not involved in any financial decisions. Second, each important business decision must go through me first. 3. We never discuss personal family issues. This is strictly business. That is extreme. You used to do it for free. I used to do a lot of things before your daughter slept with my lover in your home for 4 years while you all turned a blind eye. Prices have risen. Take or leave it. He took it. Desperation is a very powerful pen. I arrived Monday with a contract that would make a loan shark pleased. Aside from my salary, I had clauses for decision-making authority, full access to data, and the right to leave with 2 weeks' notice if they did not follow suggestions. Then I began the audit. It was worse than I had expected. Chloe had not just been awful. She had been horrifically careless. I discovered $55,000 in unpaid invoices for finished work because she failed to deliver them. I discovered $35,000 in duplicate supplier payments because she did not check ledgers before clicking pay. 3 large jobs were bid so cheap that they were undoubtedly losers. Chloe's work credit card for client schmoozing resembled restaurants, gas for her own car, and 1 weekend in Vegas. Payroll taxes had not been filed correctly in 7 months, resulting in penalties as if it were a hobby. I documented everything and sent Dad a beautiful report with a cover note. This is what happens when you give over a business to someone based on preference rather than expertise. Then I outlined my recommendations. Chloe is instantly removed from any financial authority. Set up automatic payments for your recurring bills. Call the IRS to renegotiate. It'll cost around $12,000 in penalties, but it's better than the alternatives. Stop accepting new projects until we have completed and billed existing ones. Dad takes a lower income for 7 months to rebuild funds, cancels the corporate card, and requires Chloe to reimburse personal expenses. Dad agreed to everything except removing Chloe from the company totally. She's still my daughter, he explained. She deserves a place. Fine, I said. I rewrote her role. She may keep her position, accept a 35% pay cut, and have no access to funds, client correspondence, or bidding. She was a project manager without any power. Chloe discovered the truth and became distraught. She called me, her voice shaking with wrath. You're trying to destroy me. No, I replied. I'm limiting the harm. The difference now is that I'm compensated to clean up your mess. You've always been jealous, she snarled. I laughed. What are you jealous of? Your ability to detonate anything you touch? Your intention to disappoint everyone, including yourself? Sure, I'm extremely jealous. Over the next few weeks, I completed exactly what I was hired to accomplish, no more or less. I renegotiated supplier conditions, which were not as favorable as before but still better than pay on delivery, collected the unbilled funds, and established an accounting system that even Dad could follow. The business has stabilized. It did not grow, but the hemorrhage subsided. Sustainable for operations, but not for Dad's retirement plan. About 6 months later, Mom called for the first time since the implosion. Your father is exhausted, she explained. He's 66 and works 60-hour weeks. This has to cease." "I agree," I replied. "He should sell the business and retire." "It's his legacy," she explained. "Then he should have thought about that before handing it to someone who had no idea what she was doing." "What do you want from me, Mother?" I asked. "Come back, run it properly, help him retire in dignity." "At what cost? Do I just forget that Chloe spent 4 years sleeping with my boyfriend? Pretend you didn't look the other way. Your first answer was, 'Don't cause drama.'" "We didn't know," she insisted. "Sure," I replied. "Derek spent each Sunday at your house. Chloe, too. Do you think they were just great friends?" "You saw what you wanted to see because it was simpler." She had nothing for it. "Here's what's going to happen," I stated in response. "I will complete my deal. 5 months remain. During that time, I will prepare the business for sale. Dad can retire. Downsizing is an option. Chloe can plan her own career. After that, I'm finished. No family dinners, no holidays, no pretending. You're being cruel. No, I'm finally being honest." I then hung up. True to my word, I spent the following 5 months putting things in order. I improved systems, documented every procedure, created a portfolio of completed tasks, and quietly contacted my professional network to discover potential buyers. Eventually, I discovered one, a mid-sized construction company moving into our region. They were impressed by the way I had rebuilt things, the transparency of the documents, and how clean everything looked after years of chaos. They offered $850,000 for the business. After repaying their debts, Dad and Chloe would have approximately $450,000. If they were wise, they could afford a tiny condo and a tranquil existence, but not enough to retire in Italy. The transaction completed 2 months ago. I attended the final signing not as a family member, but as a consultant. I shook hands with the new owners, handed over all of my documents, and walked out the door. Dad followed me to the parking lot. His voice was quiet and tired. "Lauren, I know things didn't go the way anyone wanted. They went exactly the way you made them go," I informed you. "You preferred Chloe over competence. You chose tranquility over accountability. These are the consequences." He looked down. "She's still your sister." "Biologically," I answered. "In every other way that matters? No." "We're finished." I drove away. I didn't look back. The irony is that drive seemed like the first truly liberating moment of my life. For years, I'd been the one who fixed things, made peace, and cleaned up other people's messes. But for once, I wasn't repairing. I was finished. What about the epilogue? It's good, very good. My consultancy business is prospering. I'm earning 3 times what I used to as a financial analyst, working half the hours and picking who I work with. I'm not gaslighted by anyone. Nobody takes advantage. Because of family, no one turns up my work to anyone else. It turns out that peace of mind pays more than any promotion could. And sure, I am seeing someone new. His name is Ethan. He's a project manager at one of my clients' businesses. Smart, grounded, and the type of calm that doesn't need to prove anything. When I gave him the whole tale, including the terrible parts, he didn't feel sorry for me. He didn't make a joke about it. He just looked at me and remarked, "You're way nicer than I would have been." We're taking things slowly. There will be no love bombing, drama, or countless promises that will fade in the light of day. He understands what I've been through and doesn't try to cure it. He's just listening. Sometimes all healing need is someone who sees the scar and does not flinch. Tyler, my best friend, will occasionally provide me with an update. He still speaks with people who know my family. Dad and Mom reportedly sold their home and relocated to a smaller unit. They're assisting Chloe with her rent, so the money is disappearing faster than intended. Of course they are. It turns out that when you lose your lucrative fictional job and have no real-world experience, starting over isn't as appealing as it seems. She's been switching professions every other week, talking big about a new company idea, and still believes the universe owes her another shot. And Derek, he attempted to contact you a few months ago. A lengthy dramatic text explaining how he is in therapy, how he has understood all he done wrong, and how he wishes to apologize properly. I read it, felt nothing, and erased it. Chloe also texted, "I hope you are happy now. You destroyed our family's business solely to exact retribution." I replied to that one, "No, Chloe, I did not destroy anything. I rescued what I could from your stupidity, saved Dad enough to retire, and moved away. The fact that you see me refusing to sacrifice myself for you as vengeance reveals everything about who you are. Do not contact me again." She did not. People occasionally ask if I regret the nuclear option, the scorched earth policy, or the utter separation. What's the truth? Not even a little. I regret believing in those who did not deserve it. I regret assuming that family meant unconditional support rather than a one-sided transaction, but stepping away, taking charge of my life, and allowing those who deceive me to suffer the consequences of their own actions. No regrets. Mom's last text was almost a month ago. Family is supposed to forgive each other. My response was straightforward. Family is supposed to avoid screwing each other over in the first place. You should try that with your next child. I then blocked her number. That was the last time any of them communicated. So yes, Reddit. That is my story. My sister slept with my boyfriend. My relatives warned me not to stir trouble, so I did what I do best. I calculated, I performed, and I came out richer, calmer, and more free. These days, I wake up, make coffee, open the balcony door, and breathe. There's a type of peace that only comes when you stop allowing people to drain you. The business keeps me busy, but not exhausted. I chose my clients and my hours. I no longer have to supervise ineptitude. I truly enjoy my work. And Ethan, the new guy, is the first person to make the silence feel like home rather than lonely. We are not rushing anything. We do not need to. I've already been through a hurricane. I don't need fireworks right now. I need warmth. Sometimes I go back to that Sunday supper, that dreadful silence before the chaos. The way Mom gasped, Dad yelled, Chloe froze, and I went out without saying goodbye. At the moment, it seemed like my life was collapsing, but it wasn't. It was clearing. They say that revenge solves nothing. Maybe they are right, but peace solves everything, because devastation is not always the best form of vengeance. It is becoming untouchable, and that is precisely what I became. These days, I hardly think about them, not out of bitterness, but because they no longer exist in my daily existence. The few mutual pals who still speak with Chloe claim she is reinventing herself. She uses social media to share encouraging quotations about growth and forgiveness, which is ironic given that she has never apologized. Naturally, Mom likes each and every post. Dad simply does not use the internet. I suppose shame has a way of silencing individuals. What about me? I'm good. Better than good. I used to believe that serenity was something you had to earn, that if you worked hard enough, stayed quiet enough, and forgave quickly enough, it would ultimately come to you. But peace is not given. It's taken. It is selecting yourself, even if others consider it selfish. A few nights ago, Ethan and I were sitting on the balcony, wine glasses half full with the city lights flickering below. He asked me, "Would you ever return, not to them, but to the older version of yourself?" I laughed. The one who believed that loyalty equaled self-sacrifice. No. She's gone. He grinned slightly and nodded. Good. She deserved better. There are no grandiose statements or pledges, just a peaceful understanding. And, to be honest, that is exactly what I had been craving all along. These are not great gestures, just peace. My therapist once told me, healing isn't always about repairing bridges. It's learning that some people were never meant to cross the same river with you. I think about this a lot since it's exactly what happened. I didn't burn any bridges. I created new ones that lead somewhere greater. Sometimes I get those Facebook memories, family gatherings, birthdays, and all those posed smiles. For a moment, it stings. But then I remember what those photographs conceal. Favoritism, quiet manipulation, and the unwavering assumption that I would solve everything. I close the app, take a big breath, and return to the life that is now mine. Ethan and I have been discussing vacationing next year. Nothing fancy. Perhaps somewhere peaceful. The ocean, the mountains, away from everything that used to hurt. He joked that I'll probably continue to check my emails from the beach. And he's probably correct. Old habits die hard. But this time, it will be my job, my success, and my peace. Sometimes I wonder whether Chloe is awake at night, wondering about all she has lost. Not necessarily me, but the narrative of her life in which she was untouchable and any mistakes were put under the brush. Maybe she does, maybe not. Regardless, it is no longer my problem. For the first time, my life is clear. No confusion, no emotional debt, simply equilibrium. And if somebody from my former life comes across this piece and recognizes themselves in these lines, here's what I'd say. You did not break me. You released me. So that's how I lost my family, found my freedom, and discovered that sometimes the cleanest revenge isn't destruction, but elevation, because peace is the type of prosperity that no one can take. And I'm finally rich. It had been 14 months since the dinner that ended everything. I've never felt lighter. The flat that previously felt too quiet now feels like home. The hum of the city at night, the clink of my coffee mug on the counter in the morning, tiny sounds that remind me I'm creating a life for myself. There is no shame, no chaos, and no avoiding other people's stupid actions. Ethan is still here, stable as ever. He is patient in a way that used to make me suspect, as if I was waiting for the catch, the treachery, or the inevitable mask to fall. But it has not. He is the type of man who does not need to prove his worth by bringing others down. He inquires before he touches. He listens to what I say. He shows up. We're still taking things slowly, which is exactly the way I prefer it. There's no timetable, no pressure, and no faking. Sometimes we work side by side in silence. Me on my laptop, him sketching out blueprints for a project, and the silence feels like protection. My business has increased in size. What began as a simple revenge effort grew into something real and powerful. I currently have a small crew of 2 analysts, 1 bookkeeper, and a part-time helper. They joke that I manage things like a Navy commander. Maybe I do, but they're happy, well paid, and we do a damn fine job. A few weeks ago, I received an email from Grant, a developer who previously worked at my father's company. He invited me to bid on a huge new project. He stated that he would not trust anyone else with his finances. That email made me laugh. Not with arrogance, but out of relief. Proof that everything I'd done, every difficult decision, every boundary imposed, had been worthwhile. I didn't burn any bridges. I just quit crossing the ones that went nowhere. Chloe, according to what I hear, is working part-time at a design studio, still tweeting about new beginnings, and apparently finding herself. Mom and Dad sold the condo again and moved. When my parents picked my brother's tournament over my award, I cut contact. 13 months later, Forbes published my face. They finally Googled me. The invitation arrived in a cream-colored envelope with gold embossing. You are cordially invited to the National Innovation Award ceremony to recognize this year's Young Innovator Award winners. My name appeared on the 3rd line below. Recipient Ryan Carter, Software Innovation category. I had won out of 250 candidates nationwide. 28 years old. My facial recognition accessibility program for visually challenged users has been named one of the year's greatest breakthroughs. The ceremony took place on December 12th at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., and was black tie. My project would be featured. I would deliver a 5-minute speech. There would be press, industry leaders, and prospective investors. It was the pinnacle of my career. I called my parents that night. "Hey, I got some news." "What's up?" Mom's voice sounded distracted and there was a TV in the background. "I earned an award, National Innovation Awards. It's a huge deal." "Oh, that's great, honey. The ceremony is on December 12th in Washington, D.C. Congratulations. There is a supper thereafter. You and Dad are invited, plus 1 is permitted. I can get you tickets." Pause. December 12th. "Yes, Saturday night. I understand it's short notice, but I just found out." A longer silence. "Let me check with your father." I heard a muted conversation with Dad's voice in the background. Mom came back. "Sweetie, that's the same weekend as Tyler's basketball tournament." Tyler is my younger brother, a 23-year-old college senior and point guard. "It's just one night," I said. "The tournament lasts whole weekend, right?" "Yes, but this is the championship bracket. He really wants us there. I really want you at my award ceremony." "I understand, but this is essential to Tyler. He's worked extremely hard." I sat there holding the phone. "So, I haven't." "That wasn't what I meant. It's simply that basketball is his entire life right now, and I own this software. Can't you record your speech? Send us a video?" I closed my eyes. "Mom, this is a national award. I am being honored at the Kennedy Center." "I realize that, but Tyler's tournament is more important." "You got it. Don't be like that. I'm not like anything. I'm simply understanding the priorities. We'll attempt to make it if the game schedule allows." "Don't worry, Mom." I hung up. I was sitting in the studio of my Arlington flat, small and cheap. Every penny went into my startup. I looked over the invitation again, noting the gold embossing and my name. Then I looked at a family photo on my bookshelves. Last Christmas, we were all at Tyler's college. We had driven 6 hours to see him play. Mom wore his jersey number. Dad had a foam finger. When Mom shared the photo on Facebook, I was in the back row, half clipped out. It was fine. That was natural. I opened my laptop and wrote an email to the awards committee. The names of the 3 guests are Lauren Kim and Michael Grant. Lauren was my business partner. Michael was my graduate school mentor. Not my parents, nor my brother. People who had personally been there. I pressed send. The next 2 weeks were chaotic. Finalizing my speech, tailoring it, coordinating with Lauren and Michael, booking hotels, and planning flights. My phone remained quiet. Mom did not follow up with me. No call from Dad. Tyler sent an SMS 2 days before the event. I heard you won something. Congratulations, bro. Just that. No inquiries, no details, just enough to indicate that he had acknowledged it. I did not respond. On December 11th, I flew to Washington, D.C. We met Lauren and Michael at the hotel. Are your parents coming tomorrow? Lauren inquired over supper. Nah. Oh, a work thing. Brother's basketball tournament? She set down her fork. You're joking. Nope. Michael, who had known me for 5 years, simply shook his head. That's incredibly messed up. It's fine. It's not fine, Lauren told me. It's tremendous. This is your moment. I understand. That is why you two are here. We ate silently for a minute. Michael raised his glass. To Ryan, who built something extraordinary, with or without family support. We clinked our glasses. That night, I could not sleep. I kept checking my phone. Part of me hoped Mom would text, saying they had changed their minds, that they would drive through the night, and that I was important enough. Nothing. December 12th at 5:00 p.m. I was wearing my tuxedo. Lauren wore a black dress. Michael wore a suit that really fit for once. We entered the Kennedy Center, where there was a red carpet and cameras, as well as other awardees and their families. I witnessed a woman about my mother's age crying while her daughter posed. I saw a parent tighten his son's bow tie. I saw siblings hugging and friends cheering. I saw everyone there with someone. Are you okay? Lauren whispered. Yeah. My category was third, software innovation. They showed a film on my study in which blind users discussed how facial recognition helped them identify family members, navigate social situations, and feel less isolated. Then my name, Ryan Carter. I walked onto the stage, shook hands with the presenter, and got the Crystal Award. It was weighty and substantial. I looked out at the audience, which included hundreds of people, industry leaders, the press, and families. Lauren and Michael stood 4 rows back and applauded. Not my parents, but those who believed in me when it counted. I gave a 5-minute speech about accessibility, technology's responsibility to serve everyone, and the users who motivated me. Received a standing ovation, walked off stage, held the prize, smiled for photos, and felt absolutely hollow. The subsequent dinner was placed in a downtown ballroom. Open bar, networking, and everyone discussing their innovations, businesses, and futures. I stood at the bar drinking my second whiskey and watching everyone else celebrate with their families. My phone vibrated. Mom sent a text. How did it go? I stared at the message. 4 words sent 5 hours after the ceremony had concluded. There was no wish we were there or we're proud of you, just 4 words that felt like an obligation. I did not respond. Another buzz, this one from Tyler. We've won. Championship, baby. Basketball trophy. Photo is attached. The team trophy, Mom and Dad in the backdrop, and enormous smiles. Dad wrapped his arm around Tyler, and Mom cried joyous tears. The precise comfort they couldn't provide me. I put away my phone. Lauren found me and said, Stop hiding. There is a venture capitalist who wants to discuss funding. I am not hiding. You are actually standing in the corner drinking alone. I am networking internally. She dragged me into a group and introduced me. I shook hands, discussed my product, gave out business cards, and pretended everything was normal. That night, back at the motel, I reached a conclusion. I opened my phone and looked at the family group chat. Tyler's championship shot prompted 17 replies of celebration, congrats, and pride. My prize had not been mentioned once. I scrolled up and found the last time I posted something. My software was introduced 3 months ago. Dad responded with cool, and Mom with a heart emoji, compared to Tyler's basketball update from the same week. 34 responses. Full chats, Mom sharing with her friends. I took a screenshot and saved it. Then I did something I had been contemplating for years. I quit the group chat discreetly, without making a statement or causing any commotion. Then I went through my contacts and blocked Mom, Dad, and Tyler's numbers. Not out of rage, but out of clarity. They had made their choice. December 12th, Kennedy Center National Award. They'd chosen a basketball game, so I chose myself. I opened my email, began a draft to my parents, wrote and deleted 5 variants, and eventually settled on, I received a national award tonight. I delivered a speech at the Kennedy Center. I met investors that trust in my work. It was one of the most enjoyable nights of my life. Tyler had a basketball game, which is why you weren't there. I now understand priorities. My goal is to create a life in which I do not wait for those who do not show up. Do not contact me. I need some room. I need to focus on those who genuinely support me. That is not you. I hope Tyler's team enjoyed their victory. I'm confident it was worth it. Ryan, I read it 3 times before deleting it with my finger hovering over send. Sending it meant that I still wanted their understanding and appreciation. Instead, I just remained silent. There is no explanation or goodbye, only absence. They had taught me that I was optional, so I was opting out. The next morning, I flew home, changed my voicemail, removed social media applications, and configured my email to automatically delete anything from their addresses. Lauren noticed. Are you okay? You have been quiet. I am okay. I was just thinking about your family. About how I don't need them to succeed. She watched me. No contact. No contact. For how long? Until they've earned it back. If they ever do. She nodded. Good. You deserve better. That week, my phone was continuously ringing. Unknown numerals. I didn't respond. The voicemails piled up. Mom. Honey, you've left the family chat. Did you mean it? Call me back. And Dad. Your mother is worried. You are being childish. Call us. Tyler. Dude, what's up? Why have you blocked me? I deleted them all without hearing the end. Christmas arrived. No gifts from me arrived at their home. I spent it with Lauren and her family. Her parents inquired about mine. I said we weren't in touch. They did not push. New Year's. I established a goal to make Forbes 30 under 30 list. Not for them, for me. I worked 18-hour days, scaled my program, closed funding rounds, hired a team, and created something irrefutable. And for a year, my family was only a memory. I stopped checking. No calls, texts, or drops. Just stillness. The type that enables you to hear yourself clearly for the first time. And what I heard was this. I'd been waiting my entire life for them to congratulate me in the same way they did Tyler, but the celebration never came. So I stopped waiting and began creating something they could not ignore, even if they had never seen it. The hush lasted exactly 13 months, not because I was counting, but because that was the time it needed to create something undeniable. January began quietly. I relocated to a better apartment with 1 bedroom, natural light, and space for a home office. I paid for it myself. No housewarming party. Only Lauren and I were there to assist unpack, and Michael brought pizza. This is nice, Lauren commented, gazing around. Adult apartments. The studio was getting cramped. Do you mean depressing? That too. My phone remained blocked. Occasionally, I received a voicemail notice from an unfamiliar number. I would remove it without listening. Did not need to. I knew what they'd say, some variation of, "Why are you doing this? Call us back. You're overreacting." Never say, "We're sorry," or "We should have been there." In February, we closed our $1.5 million Series A investment round, led by a VC who had attended the award ceremony, witnessed my speech, and believed in the concept. The tech sites mentioned it briefly, nothing significant, but enough. Facial recognition startup receives financing. Accessibility software increases popularity. I wanted to see if my relatives would notice, if Dad Googled my name, if Mom would set notifications. Nothing. In March, we hired our first 4 employees. A small team, everyone starving. Everyone believed in what we were creating. I worked 12-hour days, sometimes 16, not because I had to, but because I wanted to, because creating something was more important than focusing on those who didn't. April brought us our first large client, a blind school in Boston. They wanted to test our program. 20 students, real users, real impacts. I flew out to meet them. I witnessed a 16-year-old girl use our app to identify her teacher for the first time without assistance. She cried. I cried. The teacher cried. That night, I almost called my mother. Almost wanted to share it. Didn't, because she demonstrated that she wasn't interested unless it featured a ball and a scoreboard. In May, Michael advised that I apply for Forbes 30 Under 30. You are 28. You have time, so why wait? I don't know if I'm Forbes material. You created accessible technology that assists visually impaired persons in identifying faces. You raised over $1 million. You're growing. What else do you need? A famous last name. He laughed. Please apply. Worst case scenario, you don't make it. In the best case scenario, you show everyone who doubted you incorrect. I applied, filled out the lengthy form, submitted financial documents, wrote essays on innovation, impact, and scalability, attached news clippings, user testimonials, and funding announcements, pushed submit at 2 a.m., and then forgot about it. In June, my firm reached 12,000 users. Lauren hosted a workplace celebration with cupcakes, champagne, and team photographs. I shared one on LinkedIn. Professional. Celebrating a milestone. I tagged the team. My personal social media accounts remained inactive. I removed Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as any other platforms my family could use to stay in touch without actually communicating. If they wanted to know what I was doing, they would have to inquire. They did not. July brought an unexpected visitor, my cousin Samantha, Mom's niece. We'd been close as children. She arrived at my office unannounced. Hey, stranger. I looked up from my computer. Samantha, how did you... LinkedIn. Your company's address is public, she said, holding up a coffee. Peace offering. I allowed her inside. We sat in a small meeting room. So, she said, you disappeared. I left a situation that wasn't working. Your mom's worried. Is she? All right. She's largely puzzled. She doesn't understand what happened. I earned a national award. They skipped it to attend Tyler's basketball game. I decided I didn't want people to treat me as an afterthought. Samantha was quiet. That's fair. Is it? Because obviously I'm the terrible guy for setting boundaries. You aren't the bad guy, but you already know how your family is. Tyler is the star. Always has been. So I'm simply meant to accept that. No. I'm saying I understand why you left. I studied her. Did Mom send you? Oh, God, no. She is unaware that I am here. I arrived after seeing your fundraising announcement. $1.5 million is a large sum. Thanks. Also, I remember what it was like growing up and seeing Tyler get everything, watching you take whatever was left over. I didn't think anyone noticed. I observed. It sucked. And I am sorry I never said anything. We talked for an hour about family, expectations, and what it meant to move away from harmful people, even if they shared your DNA. Before she departed, she hugged me. I am proud of you, what you've built, how you're handling this, all of it. Thanks, Samantha. If you ever want to grab coffee, just us, no family drama, let me know. I will. She departed. And for the first time since the Kennedy Center, I felt as if someone in my family had seen me. In August, we extended to 3 more cities, formed connections with accessibility organizations, and hired 2 more developers. Revenue was increasing. Press coverage was increasing. The company was becoming a reality. In September, I received an email, subject Forbes 30 Under 30. Congratulations. My hands shook when I opened it. Dear Ryan Carter, congratulations. You have been chosen for the Forbes 30 Under 30 in the corporate technology category. You are one of 500 people chosen from over 18,000 nominations in all categories. The list will be published in our December edition, following an online announcement on November 30th. We'll need new images and a quick interview. Welcome to Forbes 30 Under 30 community. Best regards, Forbes editorial team. I sat there and read it 3 times. I made it. Forbes 30 Under 30. At 28, I called Lauren. I'm in. In what? Forbes. She actually yelled, "Oh my God, oh my God." Michael was next. He cried. I knew it. I knew you would. That night, the 3 of us went out to dinner at an upscale restaurant to celebrate. They toasted me took pictures, and posted about it. I grinned, laughed, felt proud, and didn't think about my family because I had accomplished this without them, despite them. The interview with Forbes was conducted over Zoom. A journalist inquired about my path, inspiration, and problems. "Any family support?" she inquired. "My business partner and my mentor. They've been there since the beginning." "What about parents? Siblings?" "We're not in contact." "Oh, can I ask why?" "They prioritized my brother's basketball game over my awards ceremony. I decided to prioritize myself." She paused. "That's going in the piece." "Good." October passed in a haze. More growth, more users, more meetings, and more evidence that I had made the right decision. Forbes sent the advance copy on November 29th. The magazine was scheduled to be released on December 3rd. Online announcement for November 30th at 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I noticed my photo, full page, next to my company name, age, and achievement. Ryan Carter, 28, is the founder and CEO of Vision AI, which makes facial recognition accessible to the visually challenged. Below is a quote from my interview. "Success is not about proving others incorrect. It is about proving yourself correct." I forwarded a copy to Lauren and Michael. They replied within minutes. Lauren tells me, "This is everything. So proud of you." Michael's reaction, "Framing this, putting it in my office." I went to bed that night knowing that in 7 hours the piece will be live. My family would ultimately find out, perhaps through a friend or Google, but not from me, because I didn't build it for them. I had created it in spite of them. And it made it much sweeter. November 30th, 7:01 a.m. My phone exploded, not from my family, but from everyone else. LinkedIn notifications, text messages from past coworkers, and emails from mentors and former instructors. Saw the Forbes list. "Congratulations, knew you'd make it. This is incredible." I grinned as I saw them arrive and spoke to a few of them. Then I received a call from an unknown number. I nearly didn't respond, but curiosity won. "Hello, Ryan. It's Samantha. Have you seen the news?" "What news?" "Your family." "Oh my God, they're losing their minds." "What do you mean?" "Tyler found your Forbes article." My heart has stopped. "How?" "He was at the dentist waiting room. Someone left the magazine, December issue. He was flipping through it and saw your face." I could not talk. "Ryan, you there?" "Yeah, what happened?" "He called your dad from the dentist's office, panicking. I heard it through your mom. He was freaking out." "How did he do this? Like he performed magic?" I began laughing. I couldn't help it. "It's not funny," Samantha replied. "Okay, it's a little funny, but they're spiraling. Your mom's calling everyone asking if they knew. Your dad's Googling you. They found the funding announcement, the company, everything. Good. They want to reach out. I'm still blocked. They'll find a way. Just warning you." "Thanks, Samantha." After I hung up, I sat there thinking. Tyler had accidentally discovered my Forbes piece at a dentist's office and frightened because I'd done something he couldn't understand, something that didn't require their help or presence, something that demonstrated I didn't need them. My phone rang again, another unknown number. This time I knew who it was. And I had a choice: answer and let them back in, or let it ring and continue living the life I'd built without them. I gazed at my Forbes magazine on the coffee table, thinking about my face, my company, and the accomplishments I had attained without, despite, or beyond them. The telephone stopped ringing. I didn't call back because silence can be more powerful than any discussion. The calls did not stop. Over the next 4 days, I received 40 calls from unknown numbers. I let each one go to voicemail. I listened to exactly 0 of them. On December 3rd, the magazine hit the stands. Samantha gave me photographs of Barnes & Noble, airport newsstands, and grocery store checkout lines. Forbes included my face next to the slogan, 30 under 30. She also supplied screenshots from the family group chat, which I had quit a year earlier. "Mom, did anyone know about this?" Tyler responded, "I literally found out at the dentist." Dad said, "He never mentioned Forbes." Aaron responded, "Maybe because none of you talked to him." "Mom, that isn't fair. He cut us off." Aaron responded, "After you skipped his award for a basketball game." I took a screenshot of that and forwarded it to Samantha. Your mom's a real one. Samantha. She waited a year to say that. LOL. The media requests began. Tech blogs were looking for interviews. Podcasts wanted me as a guest. The local news wanted to feature the hometown success story. I conducted 3 interviews. Each time they inquired about my journey. Every time I told the truth. My family chose not to support me, so I built something without them. Clean, factual, no emotion. However, it had an impact. The clips went viral. Forbes 30 under 30. Creator discusses family members that did not believe in him. Tech CEO triumphs despite family preference for brothers basketball over his award. Comment sections have erupted. This is why chosen family matters more than blood. Parents who play favorites deserve to lose their kids. He did not need them to win. That's power. December 5th. My office receptionist buzzed me. Ryan, there is someone coming to see you, says she is your mother. My stomach sank. Tell her I'm not available. I did. She says she will wait. Tell her I'm not available today, or tomorrow, or ever. Pause. Okay, I'll let her know. 10 minutes later, Lauren knocked on my door. Your mom's still in the lobby. I know. What would you like to do? Nothing. She will leave eventually. She brought a casserole. I nearly laughed. A casserole in a Pyrex dish. She told Jen at reception, "It's your favorite." It isn't. Lauren sat down. Would you like to chat to her? No. Are you sure? Completely. She had 13 months to reach out, apologize, and admit her actions. She waited till I was in Forbes. That's fair. My mother stayed in the lobby for 3 hours. Lauren eventually went down and told her I was not coming out. She left the casserole with a letter. Lauren brought both into my office. I threw away the dish unopened. Read the note. Ryan, I understand you're unhappy, but this has gone on long enough. We are family. The family works through things. Call me. We need to talk. Love you, Mom. I showed it to Lauren. Do you notice anything missing? She read it. No apology. Exactly. Just you're unhappy, as if I were being crazy. And we need to chat, as if I owed her a conversation. I crumpled the paper and threw it away alongside the dish. December 5th. Dad took a different approach. He showed up to my gym at 5:30 a.m. We waited in the parking lot. When I pulled in, I spotted him sitting in his car, drinking coffee. I parked 3 spaces away, got out. He did too. Ryan, please. Just 10 minutes. I placed my gym bag over my shoulder. No, I'm your father. And I am your son, the one you left at the Kennedy Center. We did not forget. We played a basketball game. I understand. You made your decision. It wasn't like that. So what was it like, Dad? He struggled. Tyler needed us, but you didn't. You're always so independent. You never seemed to need us. I paused and turned to face him fully. I earned a national award. I told you about it. I asked you to come. You mentioned possibly if Tyler's playing schedule allowed. That isn't independence. That's your decision. We were going to come to the next one. There's no next one. That was my moment. And you were not there. We're sorry. Are you? Are you sorry I didn't tell you I made Forbes? He looked down. Both. At least you're honest. I began strolling toward the gymnasium. Wait, your mother misses you. She misses the version of me that didn't require effort. That's not fair. I turned back. Do you know what isn't fair? Tyler received a championship party, a team meal, social media posts, and teary, pleased parents. I got, how did it go? 5 hours after the ceremony, via text. That is not fair. We didn't know how important it was to you. Because you did not inquire. You assumed. You constantly assume I am fine, that I do not require attention, and that I am low maintenance. But you know what? I am no longer your low maintenance son. I'm one of Forbes 30 under 30. And I did it without you. His face wrinkled. Can we please just talk? We're discussing. And I'm finished. I walked in. I didn't look back. Tyler did his best that night. Arrived at my apartment, managed to get past the building door, and knocked till I responded. Come on, dude. This is insane. What do you want, Tyler? I want my brother back. Do you want your brother back? Where was my brother when I received the national award? Oh, right. I am shooting free throws. That is not fair. I had a championship game. And I had the most significant moment of my career. Which one mattered most? They're both important. So why did Mom and Dad chose yours? He did not have a response. Exactly. I started closing the door. Wait, I've read the Forbes piece. The interview. You mentioned that we were not in communication. You told the entire world. I told the truth. It makes us look bad. You look how you acted. I didn't know it meant that much to you. You never asked. You never pondered why I stopped speaking to you. You simply assumed I was being dramatic. I tried to call once, 3 days after you blocked me. Make one call. There is no follow-up. Tyler, that is not trying. That's checking a box. He passed his hand through his hair. I don't know what you want from me. I do not want anything from you. That is the point. I wanted you there a year ago. Now I'm fine. Is that it? Are we simply no longer brothers? We were not brothers when it counted. Why pretend now? I closed and locked the door, then heard him remain there for a minute before walking away. My phone vibrated. Samantha sent a text. I heard Tyler tried to see you. You okay? Me? Yeah. I'm just tired of explaining obvious things. Samantha. For what it's worth, half of the family believes you're correct. They're simply frightened to say it. Me. That is nice, but I don't need their approval anymore. Samantha. I understand. That is why I am proud of you. December 10th. The Forbes Gala invitation has arrived. You are cordially invited to the Forbes 30 Under 30 Summit and Gala in Boston, Massachusetts from January 22nd to 25th. 4 days of panels, networking, and a celebratory dinner, plus one is permitted. I invited Lauren and Michael. No question. That night, I wrote on LinkedIn professional, clean, and pleased to be chosen a Forbes 30 Under 30. Thank you to my teammates, investors, and everyone who believed in Vision AI's objective. I look forward to the summit in January. No mention of family, no mention of the journey, just facts. Colleagues, industry executives, and past professors all expressed their congratulations, and then buried among the comments, one from my mother. I'm really proud of you, Ryan. Always have been. I stared at that remark. Always has been. Always. I checked her profile and saw she had never commented on any of my previous posts, not my funding announcement, my company milestones, or anything else. But now, a public statement on the most visible accomplishment. Not because she was proud, but because she wanted others to see her as proud. I erased her comment. I blocked her on LinkedIn. Lauren called. Did you see your mother's comment? I deleted it. Good. That was a hell of a performance, right? Always has been. Was that at the Kennedy Center? Nowhere, because it's nonsense. We spoke for an hour about family, limits, and the summit. Are you ready for Boston? She inquired. We're more than ready. This time, people will actually show up. Damn right. December passed into January. The calls from unknown numbers slowed and finally ceased. My family recognized I wasn't coming back, that Forbes wasn't a fluke, and that I'd created something substantial. And they missed everything, not just the Forbes announcement, but the entire journey. Those late nights, the failures, small wins, the biggest ones. All of it, while they were attending basketball games. On January 21st, I flew to Boston. Lauren and Michael greeted me at the motel. Are you ready for this? Michael asked. I looked at the Forbes Summit banner in the lobby, and my name was on the participant list. Yeah, I am ready. Does your family know you are here? I don't know. I don't care. Lauren smiled. That's growth. The summit featured 4 days of seminars, networking, and celebration for 600 persons under 30 who had created something amazing. I was one of them. On the last night, the gala, I stood on stage with the other enterprise technology winners, all 5 of us holding plaques and smiling for photos. I peered out into the audience and saw Lauren and Michael in the 3rd row, standing and clapping, the individuals who had actually been there. And I didn't worry about my family once because I'd finally learned the most crucial lesson. You can't make people proud if they refuse to see you. But you may create something so undeniable that their blindness is their loss, not yours. That was more than enough. The Forbes Summit concluded on Sunday night. I flew home with Lauren and Michael, watching the city lights blur beneath us. Different than last year, huh? Lauren said. I understood what she meant. Last year's win at the Kennedy Center was hollow, with empty seats where my family should have been. This year, the auditorium was filled, and many showed up. Yeah, I replied. Very different. February brought what I had been avoiding, an email from my high school principal. We would love to have you speak at Career Day. Forbes 30 Under 30 alumni. Students would become inspired. I stared at the email for 3 days. My high school is 15 minutes from my parents' residence. The same trophy cases that overlooked my academic achievements while praising Tyler's basketball. The same halls where teachers advised me to be more well-rounded. Part of me wanted to decline, retain the distance, and be safe. But another part of me, the part that had built a company from the ground up, wanted to stroll those halls as the person I had become. Accept it, I urged my new helper Julia. Schedule it for March. The school announced it on social media. Alumni success story returns. Samantha texted 2 days later, your mother is losing her mind. I tried to get tickets. School said students only. Good. Are you certain you want to do this? I am sure. I am done hiding. March 12th was frigid. I drove to school in my second-hand Tesla. I parked in visitor parking where I had previously put my beat-up Honda a decade earlier. The facility appeared smaller and older, but the gym where I had spent 5 years watching Tyler remained vast. The principal and I met in the lobby. Ryan, it's great to have you back. And the same guy who earlier suggested I join student government to improve my college applications rather than compete in coding competitions. We walked to the auditorium. Full house, he announced. There are 350 students. Some alumni requested to attend. I hope that's okay. Alumni represented possible family. That's fine. The doors opened. 350 teenagers and teachers lined the walls, with standing room only in the back. Samantha, my old English teacher, and 3 rows behind them, Mom, Dad, and Tyler. They'd found a way inside. Of course they did. I walked to the podium and stared out at 3 empty faces, including 3 in the back who had never looked at me more intensely. My first slide was not my corporate logo, a photo of me at the age of 16, skinny, awkward, and alone at the cafe with his laptop. This was me, I admitted. I'm in my junior year and working on my first application. It crashed a lot, but I was proud of it. Some students laughed. I showed it to the teacher. He agreed it was interesting, then asked if I had considered basketball instead. Uncomfortable laughing. Next slide. Kennedy Center invitation. 6 years later, I received a national prize. Kennedy Center, Black Tie Press. My most significant professional achievement. Next slide. The auditorium seats are empty. My relatives did not arrive. Basketball game. Silence. Complete silence. I'm not saying this to get pity. I'm telling this because I learned something that night. You can't base your dreams on someone else's approval. I glanced directly at my parents, at Tyler. Some individuals will never honor you the way you deserve. That is okay. Their lack of vision does not define your success. Your work does. I guided them through Vision AI, explaining the users and funding. Forbes' success does not repair damaged relationships. It does not cause those who have previously disregarded you to suddenly notice you. It merely proves that you didn't need them in the first place. Final slide. Forbes 30 Under 30 logo. So if someone urges you to be practical, dismiss them. Celebrate even if no one acknowledges your accomplishment, because you'll ultimately stop needing their attention. You will have your own. Questions arose. I spent 25 minutes answering questions about code, startups, and failure. Not a single query regarding my family. However, Mom later discovered me in the library reception area. Can we please talk? She appeared tiny, older, tired. I'm working, I explained. Students have questions. After 5 minutes, her voice crackled. Parking lot. In 5 minutes. When I'm done here. I stayed for 25 minutes, answering every student's question, handing out business cards, and then walking to the parking lot. All 3 were waiting beside my Tesla. Nice car, Dad remarked. Bought it myself. We're not here to fight, Mom replied hastily. We just want to talk. I checked my watch. 2 minutes. We were mistaken about the Kennedy Center. Almost anything. Okay. Is that it? Mom, what do you want? You were wrong. Great, nothing changes. We want to fix this, Dad explained. What has to be fixed? 13 months of silence? You can't change that? It happened. Tyler stepped forward. You are my brother. That must count for something. It mattered when I needed you. Doesn't matter now. So we don't have a chance? Mom's voice cracked. I looked at her and saw the same person who had texted, "How did it go?" 5 hours after my ceremony, who has remarked always proud on LinkedIn after years of silence. I don't need you anymore, I stated gently. For 13 months, I created something spectacular, without you, despite you, and I was pleased. We're your family, Dad explained. No, you are folks I am related to. The family shows up. We failed you, Mom explained. Doesn't that mean something? So we're admitting it? This indicates you can live with yourself. This doesn't mean I have to let you back in. What do we need to do? Mom grasped my arm. Tell me. I will do anything. I examined her hand and then her face. You can't do anything because the person who needed you to show up no longer exists. I am not waiting for your approval. I'm one of Forbes 30 under 30. I created a life that did not include you. I got into my car and started the engine. Mom stood there crying. Dad's hand on her shoulder. Tyler looked lost. I didn't feel anything. Not satisfied, not vengeance, not sad. Only one thing remains. Closure. I drove away. I didn't look back. That night, Lauren called. So, how was it? Good. Productive. Has your family arrived? Yeah, and I told them the truth. I don't need them anymore. How are you feeling? Light, I said. I feel light. That's good. Yeah, very good. 2 months later, Tyler sent me an email. Subject, no response required. I nearly erased it, but curiosity won. Ryan, I'm not attempting to contact you. I'm only respecting your boundaries. But I started therapy to figure out why I took you for granted, why I never questioned Mom and Dad's priorities for me. I was selfish. I knew you were brilliant. I knew Mom and Dad regarded you like an afterthought, so I did nothing since it benefited me. Your Kennedy Center Award. I remember thinking, he'll understand. It is the championship. I hadn't even considered going to both. I am not asking for forgiveness. I simply wanted to let you know that I finally understand what they, and we all done. You created something amazing, not just your company, but yourself. And we missed it because we didn't look. I apologize. Sincerely, very sorry. Tyler. I reread it 3 times. I saved it in a folder called Closure. It was exactly what I wanted to hear a year ago. But now it simply felt like confirmation. I was correct. They were wrong. And I had moved on. December brought snow, marking 3 years since the Kennedy Center. I decorated my house, which I had purchased with cash 6 months ago, small tree with nice lights. Christmas morning, I made coffee, sat on my couch, and watched the snow fall. My phone vibrated. Samantha says, "Merry Christmas." Merry Christmas. Are you doing okay? Yeah. Your family seems weird without you. Everyone pretends everything is fine, but it isn't. Not my problem to fix. I understand. I just wanted you to know that you are missed, at least by me. Thank you, Samantha. That means something. We hung up. I opened my laptop and examined the Vision AI metrics, 75,000 users and climbing. There is real influence, real change. That was my family now. Those users, my crew, Lauren, Michael, Samantha, people who turned up, celebrated, and noticed me. I grinned as I looked at my Christmas tree, small, modest, and uniquely because this calm morning, in a house I bought, running a business I founded, living a life I designed, was the gift. Not vengeance, not proving them incorrect, just freedom. Freedom from waiting, from hoping, from needing folks who never met my needs. I had made something better, one border at a time. Take one day at a time, a life in which I was never treated as an afterthought, where I was always the central figure. I turned up for me first. My phone remained on the table, silent and peaceful, and I let it be, because certain silences are not empty. They are filled, full of self-respect, of limits, of recognizing your worth. And I had never been richer. And